And welcome to the Zaleski Sports Show. My name's Jason Zaleski. That's Dan Ross. Today, we're going to talk to you about high school football qualifying field. We'll give you an update on that, along with girls basketball rankings. They are quite literally fresh off the digital press. And we're also going to talk about Christmas coming up in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's all yours, and it's all now.
Yeah, trust me, we're still here. We're kicking here. Yeah, Jason and Dan.
Good intro.
Yeah, thanks. It's been a couple months since we've done the show.
It's been a while. Yeah.
We did a high school football coaches show.
Yeah.
Or seed reveal show, but coaches called us and we talked to them about their seeds. And that was the last time we were in this studio here, you and I. So that was the first week or last week of October, second to last week of October, or something like that.
Yeah.
And what was interesting that time period is the night before. So literally just hours prior to that show, myself, Dan, and Mike were in the room right over that way, and we were going through a few things. But the main thing we were going through, what we came here to talk to you all about, is we were going through the football qualifying field.
Yes.
And the 224 11-player teams that would make the playoffs that night. And then we had all the coaches, or a lot of the coaches, come in, and they talked to us just a few hours later. The next morning, I think we started the show at noon or something, I don't know. And there was some consternation that night.
Yes.
About the football qualifying field and the rules, and it's in a box out there. I've got the paper still printed out in that box outside. You can see that from here, Dan. And it turns out
it took longer than usual. So we knew there was something
for them,
going on.
For the association,
yes.
it did. Yeah, we put up the 224 at just a little before 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
We put up the 224 on the various socials, and we felt really good about it leaving.
Yeah.
But what it turned out, we had in common. A friend of the show, Travis Wilson, let us in on it a little bit. He visited our show that next day, and then of course there's been continual talk about it since then. The three of us also had a very similar, if not the same, argument about how to determine the 224 in that room right over there, probably the same time that the folks across town were having a similar argument or the same argument about it. It turns out the similarities didn't stop there. We both got to the same names of the teams.
Yeah.
Our 224 and their 224 matched.
Weirdly.
Yeah.
That's the first time it's ever happened, I think. Usually we're one or two off, right?
Yeah. Just for whatever reason, to determine the full 224, you first need to be exact and accurate on the outcomes of every game for all 400-ish football teams. And we have human beings that are putting that information in. And if there's one game that we incorrectly mark of the thousands played, if there's one game that we incorrectly mark win or loss, it can throw it all, tear it all asunder, as it turns out. So that was, I think, our outcome the last couple tries. We were off by 2, I think, 2 years ago. So anyway, we matched the WIA. So we all felt nice and proud walking.
Maybe the WIA matched us.
They could have happened.
Because we were the first ones out with it.
Well,
and I feel like you need a law degree to really go down the tie-breaking procedures that it's like they're written by the NFL, right? Where there's like 8 different steps. Yeah. But it's even worse because they're worded kind of ambiguously a little bit. So I understand why there could be differing opinions in the room. And Travis Wilson said, hey, this is how you've done it every year previous. Why are you changing it this year?
Yeah, he got the red phone went off in the Wilson household, and he actually traveled from Reedsburg to Stevens Point that night in the wee hours, probably around 1 in the morning, I think was our understanding.
By the time he got back from his football game, and then prior to his appearance on the statewide show, which was he had to be there, I think, at 7 a.m. Yeah.
So he was worn out that day, coming off winning some sort of four-wheeler or some. Anyway, whole different story.
Yeah, from the Channel 9 News Center, which is
quite a day Travis had. We did too, and we all look forward to that day. But yet, when the day is happening, it's a
Yeah.
It's a lot.
A new studio that's not used nearly as much anymore.
Isn't that something?
It is.
That's other news. So, yeah. So anyway, so Travis came on and it essentially said, yeah, we realize that you all have the same qualifying field. I still believe it's wrong. I told them it was wrong. I think it's wrong. And so in years past, the associations have been susceptible to lawsuits about this kind of thing.
Yes.
The two schools that, as we found out just a week ago, or earlier this week, no, it's only Monday, last week, that Executive Officer Stephanie Hauser did release a statement and said, yes, indeed, we did have that wrong. Those two teams should have qualified. They did not levy a lawsuit against the association.
Which is good, because
it could for everybody.
It could have pushed the playoffs back a week or two.
Yeah.
Which affects winter sports and so on and so forth. And you know what? Credit to the WIA, because they figured the first week, they probably figured, yeah, it's probably incorrect, right? But you don't want to release it then. They went into the schools affected and talked to the administration, talked to the coaches, some of the players. They ate crow, which when you make mistakes, that's what you should do.
It's the adult thing to do.
Yeah. And they didn't have to do that, right? They could have just made the press release and...
Matter of fact, they've at some times made themselves famous for not doing such things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Brought undue heat upon themselves at times. Not regularly, but at times. Or at least accusations have been made that they have brought undue heat onto themselves.
But from the ashes,
yes,
a phoenix rises.
Doesn't it, though?
Yeah.
So, okay, well, I want you to talk about that, because we're going to have some new things coming up in the football season next year. And we're going to talk a lot about basketball and winter sports today, but this is topical because it just concluded in that way. So, yeah, so and you mentioned it. So they did they eventually say, yep, we did screw up, which then told us that, and I don't know which of the three of us, and we probably all argued it at some point because we forgot what the other was arguing in the process.
It was late. It was late at night.
It's a long day.
We were here all night that night, too.
It's a long day. Yeah. It's an exciting day because it's the final day of the regular season when, in a sport where not everyone does make the playoffs, there's a lot of excitement and anticipation. We actually were able to break the news live around 10:30 that night to a local coach that he indeed had made the playoffs. He didn't know that, so we broke that news. It was a roll of the dice on my part to tell him that.
Thankfully, they made it.
But anyway, so at some point the three of us were arguing for and against what turned out to be the correct and incorrect procedure, and it was a wild scene. Maybe we bring a camera in there next year, but we may not have to, Dan, because things have gotten simpler. Tell the folks what you know about it.
Yeah.
For football.
So first of all, they divide the state into 7 divisions by enrollment.
Prior
right
to
off
the
the
season.
Bat. Yeah, right off the bat.
Thankfully.
Last year's enrollment.
Thankfully.
Second Friday enrollment, Monday enrollment, whatever it is.
Which at parts of the show on Friday is where I went sideways. I was going with that thought that they were already divided, because I kept saying, one team they're in, they're out, they're in. Well, anyway.
Well,
so, divide it to 7 before the season starts.
Divide into 7. They do the performance factor, right? So.
And then on top of that.
Yep. So then So some divisions have couple less.
As an example, Edgar will no doubt be slotted in Division 7, but because of their recent success, they will be a Division 6 playoff football team. Yeah. As a recent example.
And I also want to say Ohio uses this today.
Yeah.
So this isn't something that the WIA just thought of.
Some cockamamie thing they just drummed up yesterday. Right.
Exactly.
Well, as a matter of fact, it's the Football Coaches Association that brought it to them.
Yeah. Exactly. The WIA doesn't. There's no original thought. They're
for better or for worse.
Right. They're the legislative arm of the other committees.
They do what they're told.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how it works is you get credit for the teams that you play and the teams that you beat by division.
Yep.
So if you play and beat a Division 1 team, you get more points. Division 2, little less points. Division 3, less. 4, 5, 6, 7, less all the way down. Right.
So to eliminate scheduling cupcakes, essentially.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Especially for a bigger school playing smaller schools. Yeah. The smaller schools would love to play the big schools.
Because they would get more points for beating if they were to beat that school. And okay.
Yep. I don't remember the absolute specifics, but if you play better teams and you beat better teams, you get more points. And it's all spelled out, so there's no mystery seeding math. There's no hey, we're 9-0. Why are we the 3 seed?
You know what's going to happen though, Dan? Most people watching this show are going to complain about the seeds are wrong.
Oh, probably. The other thing that they do, which is really nice, is they take the top 4 teams in each division after the 9 games have been played and you have your points, which anyone can calculate at home, right? Which is really good.
Most people watching the show are still going to complain
Sure.
that they got seeded wrong. Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So you take the top 4 teams and you put them in 4 corners of the state.
Yeah.
Eau Claire,
Yeah.
Green Bay, Madison, Milwaukee.
Yep.
For Northeast, Northwest, so on. And then they take the next 4 teams, they're the 2 seeds, and they put them mathematically closest to the 1 seeds.
Mm-hmm.
And they go on down so that you're playing 8 teams that are probably closest to you, which is how it kind of happened in the past, but it was a little bit arbitrary. This is geographic math numbers. You're going to play 8 teams that are closest to you.
They finally agreed with me that making these maps are extremely difficult every year.
Yeah.
It's an arduous process.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a breath of fresh air coming for the 2025 WIA 11 player football
Hasn't passed yet.
playoffs. It will.
But it's going to pass.
Yeah, I would be.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a scenario where it doesn't. I can't imagine.
It sounded like it passed unanimously at the coaching level.
At the coaches' meeting. Yeah,
Yeah.
now the athletic directors vote on it next. And,
Well,
I don't know.
can they do it on a golf course?
It'd be crazy if they didn't pass it. It'd be pretty wild to go against the advice of their coaches and the association and us lowly media folks here. We're all in favor.
Yeah, I mean, especially because mistakes were made, and more transparency is always better. Right?
And mistakes were accused to have been made in the prior seasons during the process.
Yeah,
as well.
because the seating and the lines, like all of it is kind of behind a veil.
Yeah, right. Mistakes or the secrecy was really getting at people. The accusations of secrecy.
Yeah, the conspiracy theorists out in the world today are abundant for sure, and this doesn't help quell it in any way.
No, it doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't. So, okay, well, congratulations to the Wisconsin Football Coaches Association on what should be your new process and make the football playoff session, they call that the culminating event, more enjoyable for your student athletes, coaches, families, friends. It will be more enjoyable now.
Yeah, and that being said, we crowned state champions, and they seem like the right ones.
Yeah.
After all that.
Yeah, it was my theory, and based on almost nothing, but it was my theory that at some point the folks at the association, that fateful night, as it turns out, just threw their hands up and walked out of the room on a number of different avenues that I saw that things looked all out of whack. And at 5 a.m. or something, they just walked out of the room and said, you know what? The team's you got to beat the team in front of you anyway. What does it matter where they're seated? I'm out. See ya. Have a good night. That's what it looked like happened.
I mean, Potosi-Cassville.
Yeah.
They were the 3 seed. And
Misseeded grossly.
Yeah, and they made it all the way to Madison.
Yeah.
And lost. But they made it.
It works more often in basketball, it seems. Ball don't lie. But I think probably all the sports. There's some truth to that at some point. And especially in football. Baseball or softball, the home field advantage is a thing because the dimensions are all different everywhere you go.
Or you just run into the best pitcher.
Or that particular day. But on a team sport, baseball, softball, a lot of one-on-one matchups, right?
Yes.
Pitcher, batter.
Yep.
Football's not that way. There are matchups, and that can sometimes equal the outcome. But in a sport where sometimes 50 on one side will touch the football field, and the football fields, no matter where you play, are all measured the same way. There is very little difference sometimes as to where that game is being played. You would have had to beat X team anyway to win your state tournament.
Yeah, I mean, you have to travel, I guess, so you get to ride a bus, which is a little bit different. But in a little bit, it kind of gets you in the mindset earlier than
You've got extra time to prepare.
Yeah.
Rather than your mom nagging you for not doing your chores and your girlfriend getting upset at you because she saw you at a locker with somebody else that day, and everything's happening as you're walking into the school. In this, you get to be on the bus and tune it all out for a couple hours.
Yeah, and we're not joking. Like I've coached.
No, that's all true.
Like things happen of someone Snapchatted someone else, and now I'm not going to pass them the ball all night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wacky stuff. So the bus somewhat eliminates that. In my day, also exciting, almost as the game, was the ride back home because my day we stopped at McDonald's. Nowadays they stop at Quick Trip. But it's something you look forward to on that bus ride too.
Well, you had to look
people
forward
at
to
home
something.
don't get to go to Quick Trip, huh?
You had to look forward to something because you lost every game.
We won one each year. We beat Rhinelander both years. Thank you very much. Hodag
Thank you.
sucked. Okay.
Yeah, because they were in the Valley.
In 92 and 93.
Yeah, they were in the Valley back
Or
then.
91 and 92. They were in the Valley back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got beat by everybody else, though. And bigly. I mean, we were pounded. Okay. On we go. Girls basketball rankings, VIP members. And really pay attention, those folks that are not a VIP member, this is high time of the year to join. You go to ZaleskiSports.com and you click VIP because we will give you the 1 through, well, let's see here. I've actually got the number here. 1 through, there's a lot of girls basketball teams. 1 through 460.
Wow.
Girls basketball teams, you will get to see their seed score by division and how things are progressing towards your eventual playoff seed. And VIP members get to see this now. I always have to give this disclaimer because, like the people who will complain about the football seeds, it's the same people who complain about this. Well, yeah, you've got so-and-so ranked here, but that's the best team I've ever seen. The math counts towards games played to date.
Yeah.
To date. Okay? So this is entertainment, but it really does, though. As the season goes on, we get more and more narrow on where that team is going to be seated. And then within the last couple weeks of the year, it just got taken away from me.
Yeah, Mike's doing something.
Okay. In the last couple weeks of the year, he may actually just be updating it right now. The last couple weeks of the year, we really get solid. And VIP members, which include a lot of coaches, about 2 weeks before the playoffs begin, they get to see who not only their seed, but who they're going to be playing. And they get a 2-week advance notice. So
it's very good.
In particular, a lot of coaches pay close attention to this. And you as a basketball fan should too.
Yeah. And eerily accurate. I mean, the entire state within one seed line.
Yeah, we know some things.
Yeah. So, unless they're going to change the formula, which they don't publicize what the formula is, just the different metrics that they use.
Yep.
But we have reverse engineered it pretty good. It's
been many years now, and we've got. I think we got it zeroed in. Every now and then, though, the Coach Association, under the cover of darkness, can change a little weight here and there.
And maybe they should because
we learn things every year. We learn new things every year. But by the end of it, we kind of catch wind of those formula adjustments anyway. So, ZaleskiSports.com, click VIP. These are going to be released later on tonight, and then it's every week, and then the boys next week. So tomorrow or Wednesday, you get a boys' opinion poll, and then after that, it's all rank. It's all just math, folks. It is all just math.
Yeah, in the early season rankings, I would say it's the same way in football. When you only have 4 games or 5 games, maybe 3 in some cases, the math doesn't really work out as nice as it does a month from now.
Yeah.
So take it for a grain of salt, but I think it is interesting. It does show a snapshot in time where we're at.
Yeah. The bottom line is plug in now, follow it during the season, and you'll be a smarter basketball fan because of it.
Yeah.
So here, let's start with this. The Assumption Royals, so girls basketball we're talking now, as we look at Division 5, are going to lose their lion's tail when they see these come out. Because they're going to start the year ranked number 2 in the state.
They did last year too, I think, didn't they?
Probably, or even below that, and they lost their lion's tails then too for a few weeks. And we continue to tell every Royals fan, just hang on. Just hang on. You've got better teams coming up in your schedule. Your ranking is going to go up. The math is going to come up, and it did. And it will this year again. Cochrane Fountain City starts the year as number 1 girls basketball team in Division 5.
I want to say that they were 1 last year too to start the season.
Could have been. Yep. Pacelli Cardinals come in at 3. Argyle Pecatonica. Are those the Space Ponies? The Comets and something else? Who did Assumption lose to? Albany Monticello. That's who
Albany Monticello.
Yeah, okay. Argyle Pecatonica, not the same team. Number 4, Lord's Academy number 5. But now that I've mentioned it...
Albany Monticello's 10.
Oh, you see them already? Yeah, the Space Ponies. It's the best name in all of high school sports. That's an unofficial name.
It is.
Because they're the Comets and the Mustangs or something?
Yeah, and they bring both
Space Ponies.
And they bring both mascots.
Space Ponies.
I love it.
10 mascots. Better than 9, 2 better than 1.
That's true.
Yeah. So there's Division 5 for you. And again, we've got them all we've got every team on that list. So that's the 1 through 5. Anything there you want to talk about? Let me go back to the top of the list there.
I'll mention it in the Merriwood Minute. I don't talk a whole lot about it, but Assumption's rolling people right now.
Yeah, it's a machine. On our girls coaches preview show last week, we happened to have Eric Wilson of Columbus Catholic and Jason Knott of Pittsville back to back, and Assumption just tore through both of them a couple days prior. And those two, I'll say this, they were in the green room waiting for their appearance. For 30 minutes, they couldn't stop talking about the Assumption Royals. That's what I'll say. And for good reason.
Yeah.
For good reason. They are tearing through teams. In Division 4, Laconia, surprise, surprise, number 1, right? They've been number 1 for years.
Yep.
St. Mary Catholic, the Zephyrs, come in at number 2. Fall Creek Crickets. I love a cricket. I do. And I'm happy just for that reason they're ranked number 3.
Yep.
McDonald Central, a state runner-up last year, I believe, and then champion probably the year prior.
They're in Green Bay a lot.
Something like that. Come in at number 4, and the Bondwell Bears, number 5 in Division 4. Of note, the Neillsville Warriors start the year at number 10, and growing.
Yeah, I think that the jury's still out in Neillsville this year, is what I would say.
Well, they are, and now that they get into conference play, they just 40-pointed or nearly 40-pointed Columbus Catholic, who may be their nearest competitor in the conference.
Yeah.
And that's it right there, right? Your nearest competitor you beat at their place by like 38. There is no competition for them in conference.
Yeah, and Neillsville's the biggest school in that conference in the area. It's a lot of Division 5 teams. And I've talked to you off the air about this. Neillsville would be a better fit in a different location.
Even just the Clover Belt West.
Yeah.
With those teams.
Clover Belt or the Merriwood South would be really good.
Yep.
A lot of good rivalries already there.
Yeah, and a couple more schools their own size.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why that happens, and I don't ever hear any talk of Neillsville attempting to improve their situation. I would call it an improvement.
I mean, you win 20 games every year in basketball.
What's wrong with that, right? You can keep the girls excited about playing your game.
Yeah.
Okay. In Division 3, the Elk Mountain Mounders. I mean, that's a great name, too. The Mounders. They start the year at number 1. Oostburg, number 2. Waupun, 3. Aquinas, the Blue Golds are 4. And Catholic Memorial is ranked number 5. There you go. Altoona, just outside of the top 10.
Wittenberg, 12.
Looking for some. They've got there's a lot of hype by Wittenberg Burnhamwood Chargers girls basketball. They've got one of the state's premier scorers over there as well. So if you get a chance to take in a Wittenberg Burnhamwood girls basketball game, please do so. We will carry their game at Amherst during the season, and they might show up a couple more times, especially if
you keep winning, you end up on the network.
Funny how that works.
Yeah.
Okay, moving to Division 2, Pewaukee, the Pirates are number 1. Notre Dame comes in at 2. The Menominee Mustangs, a sectional final team from a year ago. They beat Lakeland in a semifinal last year. They come in at number...
Not that close. 3,
and look at there. There's Lakeland right behind at number 4.
Lakeland's the sectional favorite this year.
All right.
Pewaukee, Notre Dame, are they Division 1 this year?
We have them as 2. We can look that up
Mike
in a minute.
might not have the performance factor thing in here yet.
Okay.
Or maybe that's boy. No, I think it's girls.
No,
I think,
we'll after we hang up, we'll take a look.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll take a look. And then the Beaver Dam Golden Beavers, number 5. That's one of those names that just harkens back to a time of long ago, say the 50s. Not even that. Maybe the 1850s. We need a mascot name. Well, we shall be the Golden Beavers.
Yeah, and Beaver Dam, they've been down. Say down. I mean, they haven't been to Green Bay in a couple of years, but for year after year after year, they would win it.
Okay.
2, 3, 4 in a row.
In Division 1, Oregon comes in as one. Or they call it Oregon in Wisconsin? Because the state is Oregon, and they're very adamant about that. Those folks out west, very adamant about that. We'll get some clarification from those folks. Arrowhead is number 2, Verona is 3, Hartford is 4, and the Kimberly Papermakers number 5. We had Kimberly on the network a week or 2 ago.
It really feels like the exact
and Arrowhead,
same.
Sorry, and we just saw Arrowhead get beat by Muskego on Friday night.
Yep.
Thank you. Sorry.
It really feels like it's the same teams.
Yeah. By and large.
For all the different sports in all the divisions. It's just better coaching, better players. I don't know. It's weird.
coaching is consistent, and you build a program with consistent coaching. Nothing against the dads that come out and coach. We need you to do that, but the dads usually don't bring with them a program or leave the school with a program.
I see Memorial on there. I see Spash in the top 20.
Well, we'll talk about those a little bit. I mentioned Muskego. They beat Arrowhead. They start this ranking, this seed math year at number 11. Nina, I think we had their first 4 games of the season on the network. Without Ali Zabella, of course. These kids graduate every 4 years like a bunch of inconsiderate people. They are 12, Eau Claire Memorial 13. You're going to see a lot of Old Abe's girls basketball this year on Zaleski Sports. The Spash Panthers, same way, 17 on there. And my Marshfield Tigers start the year number 24 with an old new coach, Heidi Michaels, back in charge.
Yeah, slow start, but I think she'll get it figured out.
Yeah, a couple. I'm not even sure if they've won yet this year. Maybe they just did. But that doesn't exactly matter. They were beat by Nina, Eau Claire Memorial, and then maybe they did get that win on the other one. But yeah, good. Okay, well there you go.
Conference season starting soon. There's a lot of wins in there.
Yes. Oh yeah, I'm not worried about my Tigers. Yeah. I'm very confident in Coach Michaels. She's cute as a button.
Yeah.
Which goes a long way with me.
There is nothing wrong with scheduling your non-conference opponents in a way that you think is going to best fit your team. What's going to help your team long term? Mm-hmm. Is it going to be playing terrible teams so that you get confidence, or do you want to play really good teams that push your girls, in this case, a little bit higher, right? The pace of play is faster, the game's faster, and then you get in the conference season, all of a sudden you take a little bit step back and the girls are like, oh, this is a lot easier, right?
Correct.
It's a little bit slower, it's good. It's better than the opposite way where you jump into conference play and all of a sudden you're in over your heads. So good job scheduling.
I wanted to, I'll cross myself out here, so just be you on camera now. But we talked about the Stevens Point Panthers. One of my other favorite girls coaches around the state is Stevens Point's Janelle McCarville. And why wouldn't she be a favorite? She's a former number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
You know, that's cool. And homegrown in Rosholt, I think.
Yeah.
Or somewhere over there. Custer, is that a name over there?
Could be.
I don't know.
Imagine getting your name announced number 1.
I can't. That's crazy. I didn't, but we talked about this a number of times, being a kid, you're shooting a basketball in the driveway and you count yourself 3, 2, 1, you win the national championship. I never counted myself down 3, 2, 1. I'm the number 1 overall pick.
I don't think I've ever been the first pick of anything in my life, let alone like a professional league.
But speaking of Coach McCarville, she's on the screen now. She is right now on newsstands all over Stevens Point and other places, but folks listening from Stevens Point, you can pick up your free Zaleski Sports Headlines magazine as we preview the Spash Girls basketball team with Coach Janelle McCarville. There she was right on the cover. Yeah.
Especially if you want to read about the non-revenue sports, is what the college football schools say.
In this time, it's wrestling, gymnastics, somewhat hockey, and boys swimming. Yeah. We feature all those kids in the magazine pretty regularly during the winter.
Love it.
Than non-revenue sports.
I mean, they work just as hard as the basketball kids.
They do. Their format doesn't translate to TV style and whatever. And I was just born on this earth. I didn't choose these things, but some of the things just don't have the following that a basketball or something like that has.
Doesn't mean you can't cover them, though.
Correct, and we do.
Yeah.
And we do. Others don't. We do. Which reminds me, if your local TV station has left you without locals, Zaleski Sports is here for you. Okay. I mentioned that a few times on social media. I think people like to hear it from me. They like to see me stare them down on the camera and say that.
They like you taking stances on a lot of things.
Do they?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I take stances on what I'm passionate for, and I'm passionate about local, especially local high school athletics. And it's my understanding that that a media conglomerate has said we're not interested in that anymore, and that's all we're interested in. So keep following us. We'll keep you happy.
They make a lot more money than you do. That's why.
For now. I've got ideas. I'm a Cosmo Kramer. I'm an idea man.
It's true.
Yeah, thank you.
Kramerica Industries.
Kramerica. Yeah, we're gonna drop a rubber latex ball out the window later on, filled with oil, filled with crude oil.
It just happens to fall on Jerry's girlfriend. Maybe,
is that what it was?
Something.
Yeah, he was breaking up with her anyway. Okay, coming up on Friday, I'm going to talk about the weekly schedule. I mentioned that earlier, but before I talk about the schedule as a group coming up, and we've got a lot of games again this week. Steve has lost his mind.
Many.
Steve has lost his mind on the schedule. He's giving us. You know what? Here's what I'll say. We're doing the games that we like to do, and Steve's doing a great job with it. But Steve found out last week too that all the games also means afterwards. It's a lot of work, even after the fact. There's a lot to do now, which is great. This is the business we're in, and we're happy to be in it. Again, we give you local. The Sonotag Center is a brand new state-of-the-art athletic facility in Eau Claire. I don't know if it's exactly on the campus of UWEC. I suppose it is. And I will be there on Friday. I'm so looking forward to it. They are playing Rice Lake and Eau Claire North boys basketball is being played there. So it's a very special event.
Oh. Yeah,
this is very similar to the high school basketball series at the Fiserv or at the Herd Arena and other places. This is very similar to that. This game, though, is being played at the Sonotag because it's a rescheduled game. Rice Lake, after their deep playoff football run early in the season, wasn't quite ready to play this game. And the only day that the Warriors could really commit to was Friday is the 14th or something? 13th? Friday the 13th.
Hey.
Should I be traveling on that day? I don't know. I'm not superstitious.
I'm a little stitious.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So anyway, the Eau Claire North Gym is being used by the girls basketball team on Friday night, which is a great use. But Rice Lake really wants to play the game on that day. It's really the day. Sonotag Center said, we'll take you in, so I get to go to a brand new state-of-the-art athletic facility. And
nice.
Looking forward to that. Yeah. They've got a new arena football team.
Really?
That'll be playing in Eau Claire. Wow. I don't know if it's at the top level, if it's Champions League.
Yeah.
Or if it's something under. It's probably something under, but that's pretty cool.
Well, there is no top level anymore.
Of arena?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think that folded like origami. But there is, well, I guess the second highest level is the highest level now.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So it could be.
I'm not sure their affiliation. I will find that out, though, and report back next week.
I was a season ticket holder for the San Antonio Talons for a couple of years.
Fancy.
That was the top level.
Were the Iowa Barnstormers still in that league then?
Yep.
Yeah, all right.
Yep.
Made famous by Kurt Warner, now an NFL Hall of Famer, but was an Iowa Barnstormer for a while. And they had the goggles painted on their helmet. It was interesting. I don't know.
It was great. Those games are so much fun to go watch.
Yeah. Yeah, well, all the action's right there, and you get to sit pretty close, depending on where you like to sit. But those first 10 rows are right on the field.
Yes. Because
the wall is also somewhat the boundary.
Yeah, it's the wall is like hockey boards, basically.
Yeah.
So if you're right there, you you have to be careful. Like you are in the game.
Yeah.
It's EA Sports. You're literally in the game.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Yeah.
So at the Sonotag, they've got UW Eau Claire men's and women's basketball, and this. I'll report back on Monday what I found out. I do encourage folks to tune in. Again, state-of-the-art facility, which means we'll have some cool stuff. Our play-by-play folks actually sit at court level on the press table.
That's how it should be.
Yeah. Well, there's some technical skill needed then to put the camera somewhere else, essentially remotely, and run the broadcast from somewhere else. So we've done it before, though. Matter of fact, during 20 and 21, I think both years, I called all the Marshfield Tigers girls and boys basketball games from the floor. That was fun.
Yeah, usually when I do games, I'm as far away as possible. Literally.
I miss being on the floor. I miss being on the field. I miss it mainly because I want to be able to relay to the folks at home what the kids and the coaches are saying. So a little trick I have these days, especially at basketball. So if you see me at a basketball game calling it, I've got a microphone I put on the scorer's table.
Yep.
Because I like to hear the official calls coming in. I like to hear some of that chatter. Every now and then you can get some coach. And I just think if you're not able to make the game, I'd like to tell you more about it by telling you what the kids and the coaches and the officials are saying.
Yeah.
And I got to do that from the floor. So now I put so you can do that with Hannah. Put your microphone down on the scorer's table.
I can, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that works out real well. Okay, so that's Sonotag coming up on Friday. I'll go through the whole, at the very end of the show, which we've got about 20 minutes left.
Okay.
I think we're good for 20 more. You good for a Merriwood Minute? Should we launch that?
I have it, yeah.
Here is Dan Ross with today's Merriwood Minute, sponsored by Mid-State Technical College.
Yeah.
I had a logo, I don't anymore. I got some refurbishing to do on this machine.
Just picture.
I'll find while you're talking. I'm gonna
picture
find
it. The M.
I've got one. I'll stick it up there.
Good news, Jason.
All right.
Rising from the ashes like a phoenix, it's time once again for the Merriwood Minute.
There it is. Got it.
Yeah. The last 5 minutes or 10 minutes should be fan calls, so they can give us their
height and weight.
Height and weight.
It'd be risky business from these people though, calling in.
7'4", 210. Like you're not 7'4".
Oh yeah, all right.
But
yeah. Skyscraper. That's what that would be.
It would
7'4",
be.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Okay.
To Edgar and Stratford football teams.
Yes, indeed.
We have not talked much about it. Edgar goes back to back.
Wow.
In Division 7.
A lot of people thought they wouldn't.
I was one of them, honestly.
Okay.
I thought they were good, but I thought that last year's team was better, and some other teams were better from previous years that maybe lost at level 2. But it really is relative to who's in the bracket with you on a given year.
Last year's team was way better. I'll say it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
And Stratford, back-to-back-to-back champions.
Unbelievable.
It really is.
No, this one was their best team. But still,
offensively
what
especially.
an accomplishment.
Offensively especially.
What an accomplishment. Congratulations to the Tigers and the Wildcats.
Yeah. So 2 at Division 6, 1 at Division 5. They obviously graduate a whole bunch of kids this year. So we'll see how things go next year, but I would not count Stratford out ever. No way.
Okay.
Yeah. And these 2 schools, they're a 15-minute drive from each other.
On a bad day.
Yeah, that's the crazy part about this, right? Is that the rest of the state gets to see Stratford and Edgar. They're always down here. But I don't think people realize that they're next to each other.
They play Xbox in each other's living rooms.
Yeah.
All year long.
Yeah, they all know each other. Yeah. Congrats to Coach Tubbs and Coach Sins. Sins has won like 30 of them now, probably. I'm not sure how many gold trophies he has.
I don't know if they're setting marks that I don't know can be touched. At least not for a long time.
How many does Sins have?
8? 9?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty good, I guess.
I'll look it up.
Okay.
We need a statistician in the show.
Yeah.
You're gonna fire off questions like that at me.
Yeah. Your son's literally right out here looking at his phone.
He's on his lunch break.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into the hardwood a little bit. Girls are approaching the 1-month mark of the season, so we can start seeing some things that are happening. We'll start in the Merriwood North.
8. I had it.
8.
Been there 14 times, won 8. Coach Sins.
Well, that was last year's article.
So been there 15 times, won 9. I said 8 or 9.
There you go. See, I look, November 16th, 2023.
Kids, that's a pro tip. Whenever somebody asks you for a number, you give a range.
Yeah.
Then you're good.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. So the good, and we're not going to call it bad or ugly because we're better than
the good or the not as good.
That's exactly what it is.
I do not write this at all.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. The good, Rib Lake girls.
Yeah.
Quick start. Likely their best team since 2018 when they won the Merriwood North.
Mm-hmm.
The not so good, what I would say, is that graduation has taken its toll on these teams that are perennial big-time players in the Merriwood North. So that's Phillips, that's Athens, just graduation, right? You lose girls, guys every year, but sometimes you lose 3 or 4 at a time, and it's really tough to backfill that.
I said they were inconsiderate by graduating and leaving the school. That's a horrible decision to make. 6-0 are the Redmen girls basketball players.
And Phillips has a good record, and they might end up being good. But I turned that game on Friday night against Assumption, and it was 60-10, close to the end of the first half. So,
yeah, I saw the same thing.
Yeah. So speaking of them, girls in the South, Assumption is rolling, and we've never seen this early on in the season, I don't think, from anyone here locally. They have running clock to every team besides for maybe Pittsville, and it was close. It was close to a running clock at one point.
26-point win against Pittsville. That's their closest contest yet, 26 points.
Yeah, and a lot of these games are are over by halftime, right? They're up by 30 at halftime.
I would say all were over at halftime.
Yeah.
Just looking at them. Yeah.
And then the second string and JV girls get to play, and that's fantastic, right? Because you're building for the future.
Yeah, Phillips scored 30 in the second half, and they were nary a starter to be found out there.
No.
Or for the most part.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tomorrow,
Okay.
we have Assumption Auburndale.
Girls basketball.
Right.
I'm looking at it right there.
Auburndale also undefeated on the season.
What a collision.
Yeah, and it's over in Rapids. So if you have a chance to, if you want to see the two best small school teams in this part of the state, tomorrow at Rapids is where you're going to find
And two of the best small schools teams in the state.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Get to Wisconsin Rapids. It's a fun environment there. They may still have some cranberry cookies left from a couple weeks ago. Those are always good.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see how Auburndale handles the Assumption pressure.
Yeah.
Right? Because Assumption has added a lot of half-court pressure defense along with their full-court arsenal. Good job by the Assumption coaches changing it up year to year so that a team who sees you once a year doesn't know exactly what they did last year.
Auburndale with a new coach, Josh Nagel, in his first year. We'll see if he's been paying attention to the games on Zaleski Sports. That's how you can best scout your opponents,
I am guessing that he will not be unprepared for it.
I was trying to find him once, and his wife told me he was in the woods. So, we'll see.
We will see.
That was recently, yeah.
All right, the boys' season, still young, but really competitive. So last Friday was the first Marewood boys crossover, where the South plays the North. All 6 teams in the South played the 6 teams in the North. This particular week, the South went to the North.
Okay.
And they kind of flipped back and forth,
Yeah.
right? And it was split 3-3. That's not usually the case. Usually the Marewood South kind of rolls over the North.
Yeah, maybe 5-1.
Yeah.
You know, somebody from North got
5-1,
somebody
4-2,
somewhere.
6-0. Yep. And a lot of that is, again, due to graduation in the South. Marathon graduated their team.
Yeah.
Right?
I see they beat Shawamigan in that matchup by 3.
Yes.
That's a game they've been winning routinely by 30.
Absolutely.
Over the last couple of years.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, real quick, we had Rib Lake beat Edgar by 11.
Okay.
Edgar had the late start to their season because of football. Same with Stratford. So, we don't really know what Edgar has yet. Stratford projected to win the conference.
Let me say, I'm going to repeat it now.
Okay.
Edgar, a team of football players playing basketball. They don't like when we say that. But that's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, are they basketball players playing football winning state championships?
No.
They're just athletes.
Okay.
Just athletes.
All right. We like watching them play, though.
Yeah. And Rib Lake has a good team again. So, Edgar winning by 11, I think that seems...
Yeah, Rib Lake winning by 11.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Phillips beat Assumption by 17.
0-3 Royals.
0-3. A little surprising, I would think. Right?
Columbus Catholic, Nakusa, and Phillips.
Yeah, because Assumption has a lot of kids back this year and just not quite gelling yet.
Yeah.
Season's still young. We'll have to see how it goes.
One or two of those teams they beat are not going to set the world on fire either. So there's got to be some concerns there, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Fan base is strong, though. I know they're passionate about the Royals.
Yeah.
Keep a stiff upper lip, they say.
It's true.
Okay.
Newman has some football injuries, and they're not a talented team.
Yeah.
As they were in past years.
A rebuild.
They lost by 27 to Athens.
Yeah. Rebuild.
Yeah. Marathon, like you said, Marathon squeaked past Shawamigan by 2 or 3, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Auburndale beat Abbotsford by 15. Abbotsford's improved this year.
Yeah. We're up by a larger number in that first half, and then in Auburndale style, they like to play them close.
Yeah, they really do. Year after year, the Auburndale boys, doesn't matter who they're playing, you can guarantee if you're in the stands, you're going to have a close game with 5 minutes left.
Yeah, they had an overtime game at Colby the other day, too. So.
Yeah. And Stratford beat Prentice by 2.
68-66. I was waiting for you to mention that one.
Yeah, pretty interesting.
That is. I don't think Stratford has their legs under them yet. Again, coming off of a 3rd straight football championship.
Yeah.
They take on Athens tomorrow. A game I may end up rolling over to and checking out those Tigers.
Yeah. But so I don't say kids' names often on the show because I get hate mail. Right? But we have six boys.
And mainly when you leave somebody out, right?
Well, yeah.
That's the main thing.
Well, then I just butcher the names.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, all right.
At least before basketball games, I'll go down and talk to the coaches a little bit and get pronunciations for the assistant coach or a kid who's in a cast or something. But Grayson Totsky, Abbotsford, he's averaging 27.3 points a game.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Evan Lord, Prentice, 26 points a game. Cooper Mikulski, Oshawamigan, 26 points a game. Blake Rapp from Auburndale, 24 points a game, which is surprising because he was not a 20-point game scorer the last couple of years.
Nope,
more
he was not. But he's the leader on the team now.
Yeah. Lane Abraham from Phillips, 23.5, and Drew Bruzowitz, Stratford, 23 points.
So there's some scorers in the league.
We have 6 kids averaging 23 or more points a game.
That is worth a Merriwood minute in and of itself.
Yeah, and even in past years, you'll see a lot of boys games, especially conference games in the 40s and 50s. Mm-hmm. These games are in the 60s, 70s, 80s. They are lighting it up. Yeah. All right.
Congrats, boys.
Yeah. So as the conference season ramps up, get out there and see some games. There's always games to see. Just like there's another Merriwood Minute, probably next week. Yeah.
Okay. Well done, Dan. Well done, as always. Mid-State's very happy that you've given a successful segment.
They should be happy that when I coached at UW Marathon that they beat us 2-3 times every year in basketball.
What was their nickname when they had that team? Remember what it was? Were they the Wolves or something?
No, they were something a little bit meaner. Like
meaner than a wolf.
Wolf pack or something like that.
A pack of wolves.
Yeah, not
better
just
than one wolf. Better than a lone wolf.
I might be wrong on that, but I think they were the wolf pack or something.
All right. Well, thank you, Dan. So a couple updates. Some of you have seen this already, but I'm here to give you some updates. Roku. So yes, you can watch archive games on YouTube. It's a bit of an adventure out there attempting to find the game.
It's tough.
You can type in Stratford Edgar basketball, just as an example, or Stratford Edgar boys basketball, and you're going to get any one of 18 to 25 games. We've been doing this for a while. And then you got to figure out which one you wanted to watch versus which one it's showing you. There is a description, but it's somewhat a hit or miss. Somewhat hit or miss on YouTube.
And if you could filter the results by like recency or recent or something,
well,
it'd be great.
Do I have good news for the gang? That's exactly what Roku does, is you have the ability to search by your favorite team, by year, by sport, by all of it. And so if you're looking for last week's game versus a game from 5 years ago, it's right at your fingertips. It is so easy to use. So go to your smart TV and download Zaleski Sports on the Roku app. Or download the Zaleski Sports app on Roku today.
Yeah, and a lot of the teams schedule year to year very similar, right?
Well, we just had Stevens Point Wanakee again this year, just on Saturday. So,
yeah, and it's almost the exact same time of year.
Yeah.
So like you can't put like December 4th in because it could very well be last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah. So Roku takes all the guesswork out of it. You put in the year you're looking for in the game, and off it comes. Or you're not sure what year it is, but I just want to look at Stratford boys basketball. Well, you punch that in there, and it shows you just Stratford boys basketball in chronological order, so it takes all the guesswork out of it.
And you can actually scout teams that way.
Hey! Website, so ZaleskiSports.com. I've mentioned this a couple of times. Girls basketball rankings will be up shortly. VIPs for $5 a month. That's less than a cup of coffee these days. You get to see the statewide rankings, know where your team is going to be seated come playoff time, or just kind of maybe even gather some information about your upcoming opponent. You're a fan of whatever team. The one thing I want to note on the website that we've made some improvements on having your user ID and password stick. So
hey, that's
you'll
pretty
be happy
nice,
for that. Those improvements have been made. So what I tell you is it's free to create a login. And when you do, on the website, you can go and select just your favorite teams, and you customize it just for yourself. So when you're browsing the website, your favorite teams you'll be alerted to things that they're doing. And you do that with a login. The login's free. We don't do, what's it called, marketing emails or spam emails. It does ask for your email, but that's so you can log in. There's no spam emails on there. We just want to make it easy for you. So these improvements have been made. A large check was written to make those improvements recently, and it's all for you. It's all yours, and it's all now, just like the show. So head out to the website, create your login. It's free, and customize it to the teams that you want to follow, and make your life a whole lot easier following high school sports. Again, we're the local media company nowadays. Well, we are.
I know.
Okay. Schedule. Should we talk about the upcoming schedule? We got 8 minutes left.
Absolutely.
Okay. We always save the last word for Dan, so he's going to gather up his thoughts here. So schedule. This is a lot of games.
Friday night,
gravy.
or I think it was Thursday night or Tuesday. There was 15 games.
There were,
and I was like I don't think we even have that many teams to broadcast these things. Are you like just bringing people off the street to like announce games? Doesn't make any sense. Now there's some doubleheaders and stuff that helps. But.
You do the same crew, right? So that's a big help. So 46 games this week. I'm not going to. Nobody's going to listen to me say 46 games, are they? But here's what I'll do instead. Maybe I'll pick out one a day that I think should capture your interest. Of course, the main goal is to have multiple devices, or even on your computer, you can up multiple YouTube tabs and keep tabs on all the games for that particular night. So today be a little easier. There's 4 games today.
Monday's a slow game, and usually it's Clover Belt games.
And they are. I thank you for that. A couple of years ago, we did 4 games on a night. That was the big night that week. Yeah. That was the big night. Yeah, we actually had 16 last week Tuesday. We scratched one. We had a late scratch. The horse got a hoof problem, and we had to scratch it. But twice this week we'll hit 15 on Tuesday and Friday. Okay, so tonight, I think an interesting game is Auburndale at Columbus Catholic boys basketball. We mentioned Auburndale likes to keep it close.
Yeah.
The Dons are in a rebuild.
Yeah, they're down a little bit, but they still look good against the
They've got firepower. What Coach Konechny hasn't quite got to, and it's only like the 3rd or 4th game of the year coming up. So there's a lot of games, and I know if there's a coach I trust to make his team look different in February versus December, it's Coach Joe Konechny. They've shown flashes, haven't been able to put it all together for a full game. Even on the games that they have won, we still haven't seen that consistency. Auburndale, as we know, boys like to keep the games close. So tip 7:15, watch it live tonight on Zaleski Sports. There's a few other games on as well. Full schedule's on the website, so that's where you go for that. Real easy to do. Tomorrow, Tuesday, there's a couple interesting ones out here. Let me turn the folks' interest. I know you mentioned Auburndale Assumption girls basketball.
Yep.
A solid choice no matter what. Marshall and DCR versus boys hockey. It looks like most folks are fighting for 3rd and 4th place, and so the winner there could be 3rd versus 4th place behind Spash and Wausau West, of course.
Marathon girls at Newman Girls, I will be there.
Okay.
Live, 6 o'clock.
Good luck. All right. Wednesday, we got a Wednesday game on the schedule.
It must be a Southern game.
Yeah, of course it is. We've got Matthew Peck and Elijah Vang Salata. They're going to show you Kettle Moraine at West Tosha Central boys basketball. So I don't need to make a recommendation. It's the only game on Wednesday.
I know nothing about those teams.
We're going to find out.
Yeah.
We're going to learn about them all as a group. 7:15 tip from the high school gym at West Tosha Central on Wednesday. On Thursday, the Marathon Cup starts. That's hockey.
Yep.
So that's at 5:30. So if you want to get get a hockey game in before whatever the Thursday night NFL game is this week, I don't know what it is. The Bears play on Thursday?
I hope not.
Okay. We'll save NFL for a different show. I'm wearing my NFL here. Wild Rose at Pacelli boys basketball. I'll turn the folks' interest to that game. Pacelli lost a key member due to transfer from last year's team to this year.
He must be starting soon.
So it's a month yet. It's a month yet, yeah. Wild Rose maybe has a team on the uptick, and we're going to find out a lot about the Pacelli Cardinals boys basketball team with...
they've been rolling early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got AJ on the call on Thursday, 7:15 tip. And I think it'll be an interesting game.
Shirk is really good.
If nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coach and coach's son.
For sure. Yeah. Yep. And then on Friday, a pair of Division II boys basketball teams hit the hardwood. Merrill at Wausau East. Now, Wausau East, a team that has proven itself from last year, a sectional semifinal team.
Undefeated this year still, I think.
The Lumberjacks are undefeated. Last year... they went to Green Bay East after maybe a big win against Spash and completely spit the bit and lost a game at East. That was not the case on Saturday.
They ended the Spash big win streak or something, I remember.
Yep. Yeah. It certainly did. And then...
We were at that game.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yep. Sure were. And then Rib Lake Marathon. Doubleheader starts at 5:30. The boys, then the girls. That could be an interesting game as well.
They should be close games.
Yeah. And then on Saturday, starting at 5:30, the Marathon Cup concludes. We'll have a champion crown. They'll skate around the ice with the cup. They give them a thing. So that's on Saturday. So
yeah, it's a Wausau tournament that Mosinee gets invited to.
Mosinee gets invited to.
Same area.
Played this year at the Green Heck in DC Everest.
Is it always there?
No, they rotate that between those three. So
right.
Marathon Park, DC Everest, or Green Heck, and then the Mosinee hockey arena.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a name to it, but the arena. Okay, and then I'm going to end with Christmas. Christmas coming up. By the way, the Zaleski Sports Christmas party on Saturday. Are you going?
I can't go.
You loser.
I have bowling league.
Okay, well, we've got 30-some people going, so I'm sorry you're going to miss out. It's going to be a great time. I will share no pictures with you at all. Ouch. You'll be in the dark on it. Yeah. Thursday. This is the Thursday, the day after Christmas. Thursday. From Concordia University, we'll give you 2 games at the Wisconsin Basketball Yearbook Shootout. A shout out to Mark Miller with that. And then on Friday, I will be in Windermere, Florida.
You will be.
I will be at the KSA Event Center for Knoxville Catholic of Tennessee and the Marshville Tigers. Tip is at 12:30, I think. It doesn't say it on here, but that's coming up.
Imagine taking a trip to Florida as a business expense.
It's going to be great.
That's pretty nice.
It's going to be great. It includes New Year's Eve at Disney World.
That's pretty nice.
As a business expense.
That Friday, I will be doing a doubleheader with Columbus Catholic, I believe.
Am I almost there? I am almost there. Thank you. Yep. So other Christmas events, Auburndale, their format has changed. They had somebody drop out late, so instead of doing the...
That's 2 straight years someone dropped out late.
Yeah, well, they had a replacement last year. This year they weren't able to find a replacement. So instead of doing a round robin, they're going to play some single games, then it's done. So a little, not quite the pizzazz, but still great basketball in Auburndale, and the best hot dogs in Wisconsin at the Auburndale Gymnasium.
Jason owes me one.
I owe Dan a hot dog. You get them with ketchup, and they taste fantastic over there. It may be the ketchup that's the clincher. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they're good though.
But it's magic. The whole thing is magic over there. Marshfield Girls host an event that starts on the 27th, so that's the Friday after Christmas, 2 days after. Assumption Girls Basketball are at the Herd Arena that day, so Steve Maves will be down there. The Concordia tournament goes all 3 days, 26, 27, and 28. Dan is going to be in Marathon. Columbus Catholic Girls doubleheader? Girls-boys doubleheader?
Yeah, I believe so.
Sounds right. Okay. And then also the Friday, Saturday after Christmas, Stratford holiday extravaganza, Fall River, Owen Withy, and Manawa all participating in that. And then my games in Orlando continue on Saturday and Monday after Christmas.
I like it.
Last word for Dan Ross.
Yeah, I would say that we are getting over our football fix of high school football. It's definitely time to turn the page and time to start paying attention to basketball. It is a long season, right?
5 calendar months involved.
The girls are already more than a month in.
6 games is 20% of the season.
Yeah.
No, 25% of the season is 6.
Yeah. So it is time to flip the page. It's time to start paying attention. It's basketball season.
What a time to be alive.
I love it.
Okay.
My favorite time of year.
Dan Ross, Jason Zaleski. Have a great day, everybody.